the best a man can get.
Back here on First Things First, and we're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Hey, Chris.
What up, man?
Always good to be here.
I'm part of the First Things First management team. I apologize.
We have fun during the breaks.
Things that happen during the break, stay during the break, CC.
Yeah.
No, what happens in Vegas don't stay there either. 9 months later, you see him walking around.
Hey, Broussard, Kyrie Irving has moved from Boston to Brooklyn, that we know. Last season, he had his best statistical season, but the Celtics were bounced in the second round. Kyrie was blamed for a lot of the team's issues: team chemistry, ball movement, relationship with the head coach. But Danny Ainge says, quote, "I feel like the Kyrie bashing is unfair." Chris, you agree with Danny Ainge there?
I do. I mean, look, Kyrie certainly deserves criticism. There's no doubt. I mean, he showed poor leadership. They didn't go as far with you as they had gone without you. So he deserves some criticism, but it's gone way too far. He's just was one of several reasons why it was a disappointing season. Number one, let's look at Brad Stevens. You know, I kind of call him at this point the little engine that could coach. You know, because he's one of those coaches. No, I mean, serious, right? Draft, we talk about, oh, Oklahoma City's got 15 draft picks in the next 5 years. Well, that might not be the best thing because they brought in a lot of young players. And, CeCe, you notice, young players, a lot of them are coming in thinking, I want to establish myself as a star first, get my max deal or close to it,
yes,
and then we'll start winning. So you had a Jaylen Brown, a Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier. These guys that understandably, it's their job, it's a business, want to get paid. And sometimes averaging 10 points or 11 points when Kyrie's doing all the work isn't going to get you paid. And then, of course, last year they had some success, so they thought they were better than they were. The young players wanted to do a little more ISO, you know, breaking the offense a little more. So all of that conspired along with what Kyrie did.
Younger players, I think you make a great point, and I don't think fans look at it that way. Veteran players, because they've had experience, because they've been to 2 or 3 teams, they've been in several systems, that's when the veteran players are like, you know something? I'm better off being a role player. Danny Green, remember him when he was younger?
Right.
Non-athletic, not a good defensive player. I mean, he can shoot the basketball, but that's all he can do. As a young player, he's trying to get minutes. Right. He's trying to score. He's trying to take people off the dribble. I can do more than just shoot. So trying to prove people wrong, that's one of the things in trying to get paid as a young player. Kyrie understands that because Kyrie was that kid when he was in Cleveland. His numbers were phenomenal, but they got crushed. Yeah. But people knew that he could play. And there were times during the game when Kyrie was younger, oh, he would just, like Marcus Haynes with the Globetrotters, he would just do things to you to let you, so people could see, man, I'm that good at basketball. One of the problems with the Celtics was there were so many different agendas. Kyrie wasn't a great leader, but Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens, they didn't do a good job as far as when guys' contracts were staged and getting a message to these younger players, even if you might not be getting 15 points a game. We look at you as the future, telling Jaylen Brown, telling Tatum those types of things, bringing those things under control. So then the leaders, it's easier for them to lead. So they need to be able to spread that blame around. Kyrie, of course, the marquee players, the big-time players, that's all a part of being a leader and getting that salary that he was getting.
I think everything you're saying is totally fair. I find these comments, though, really interesting for a slightly different reason, because it would be easy, maybe be incorrect, but it would be easy, especially since Kyrie is gone, for the message for the Celtics leaked to reporters, said publicly to be, I mean, Kyrie was a bomb that went off in our locker room. He's crazy. He walks into practice, asks Brad Stevens, what does government mean to him? He's going down these YouTube rabbit holes. He's calling LeBron. He's talking about this. That message, at least then, even if it's not accurate, it wipes the hands clean of.
Now you say, now we're okay.
And now we're okay. Well, look, we got Kimbo, who's almost as good and doesn't have the drama. When Danny Ainge says the Kyrie bashing is unfair, totally fine comment. But that does put the spotlight on Brad Stevens for the reasons you said. And in my mind, it puts the spotlight on Danny. Because it is the general manager's job to see what Terry Rozier did, in that conference finals run when Kyrie was injured, know Terry Rozier's contract status, know the personality of the player, and say, are we better off, with his value pretty damn high, moving him rather than have him as an insurance policy that is going to be unhappy and a malcontent all year long? It is the general manager's job, when I heard, when you heard, when everyone heard, that Jason Tatum is spending a time with Kobe, to have a hard conversation with him going into the year. Say, listen, man, appreciate you working on your game. Here's what you did really well. Here's what Kobe did really well. And looking up to Kobe is one thing. Thinking you can do what Kobe did, who is arguably the best bad shot maker ever. Like, what made Kobe special was he took impossible shots, but made them. And Danny Ainge either didn't do that, couldn't do that, or didn't get it across to him in that regard. That's on the organization. If it's not that Kyrie set a bomb off in the locker room, then there are more structural issues with the Celtics that could linger into this season, even though Rozier and Kyrie are both gone.
I think he had another motive, too. Danny Ainge knows you need superstars to win in this league.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to bash a superstar.
You cannot do
right?
that.
So he wants other guys to look at the team and say, okay, you know, not that they're anti-superstars and stuff.
It's a great
so
point.
That's a big part of this as well. And look, Kemba is unique in that he's a star kind of with a role player's character or something. So that's why I do think he'll fit well. But that's a message Danny Ainge is getting out.
Just quickly, whose team is it now? Who's the leader in that locker?
It's got to be Kemba.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Kemba.
It has to be Kemba. I mean, Jason Tatum maybe one day, but Kimba's got to be the guy. And Kemba, by the way, has experience with that. He was the leader in Charlotte. Now, they weren't good. I wouldn't blame him for that. They did. Michael's done a terrible
He's a
job
great leader in
building that
college,
team.
too.
Absolutely.
Great leader in college.
And a winner and a guy, we haven't seen him play big NBA games, but if you can carry it over from college, he is a big game, big shot maker, big shot taker. So it becomes Kemba's team.
All right, take a break. Coming up, Broussard, we'll see you a little later. Can Carson Wentz regain his 2017 form? That's next on First Things First.
Make Jenna go wash her mouth out with soap.
Then it was fine.
I can't say stop it. That's bad now.